Long enough to meet you.
Okay, well, now you're being evasive. So now I don't trust you because I asked you a very specific, direct question. Okay, so let's say you say 30 days. If you start going down the deceit path, this disappears. And when this disappears, the opportunity is gone. Okay. Unless it's a place that they don't give a shit who you are. They just need bodies. Okay, it's commission only. I don't care anything about you. If you can't make it, it doesn't hurt me. Okay, so you tell the truth and you say 30 days. Hello, California.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
30 days.
Okay.
Okay, I'm thinking, I wonder why nobody else is called, why she's still here. Why doesn't she have a job? What's up? And I say, why do you want to work here? And that's probably the answer. I wasn't expecting that question.
Right. I planned an answer, but I'm just not good, you know.
Okay. If you can't answer the question, why do you want to work here? Guess what you're probably not going to do? Work there. Yeah. Okay. If you can answer the question, why do you want to work here? Honestly, truthfully, persuasively. Guess what probably will happen, unless there's somebody better than you. And if you lose because somebody's better than you, there's nothing to feel bad about. You know, it's when you really shouldn't get the job because you're not prepared, that's when you should feel bad, because then you should say, damn, if I was prepared, I would have gotten that job. But he asked me this question, and I just wasn't prepared. So one way to help persuade people that you really want the job is you take control, right? Whoever's in control of events is usually the person that's going to come out in a better position, right? Because you're acting, not reacting. So one way to do that is after you do your research, you have a video of yourself that you put on YouTube, and it's in your community, and it's answering the question of why you really want to work there. And in your resume, whether it's electronic or not, guess what you include? A link to your YouTube video. And what do they get to do? They get to, number one, see you. So if you have 3 teeth and 1 eye in the middle of your forehead, and they still want to see you, guess what you don't have to be worried about? Yeah, you don't have to worry about your appearance because they know what your appearance is. What you want to do is also then in that is to plant seeds. So hopefully, ideally, you go into the interview, they've seen your video, you go into the interview, and they say, you know, you said something interesting in your thing. Can you elaborate on that? Can you elaborate on that thing? Brett? Okay, can you elaborate? So we're going to get started in just a second, but just unless you want to come up here. Wait, who's supposed to be doing this class today?
Margaret, because she graduated before me.
Okay, no, that was to actually set it up, so I didn't do that. Phyllis, could you see if Brett would like some coffee or tea or water or something? Okay, so so by the end of the week, everybody has to produce a little video about yourself. If you know where you want to work, you can produce it on here's who I am and here's why I want to work for you. If you don't know where it is, then you can do a here's who I am and this is why you would want to hire me. Okay, that's where we want to get to at the end of the week. Anybody not clear about that?
I'm just YouTube video for anybody.
Huh?
YouTube videos are for anybody. You can't send.
That's not true.
You can send one person and only they can see it.
Correct.
I didn't know that.
That's because this is Monday. That's what we're going to fill in between now and then. Right? So we're talking about, so we're here, Monday, right? We're going to get to Thursday, right? By the end of Thursday, we have to have YouTube videos created. And ideally, you know where you want to work, so you can talk about why I want to work for you and why you'd want me to work for you. And at the most, it's 90 seconds. Yeah.
So how would we oh, from there?
What? Would you please say that again?
How do you record it?
On
Yeah,
here.
that's- Okay.
I mean, because on the video it said, I mean, we all don't have, so we
Okay.
can do it individually?
This thing will plug into your computer.
Okay.
If you want to do it from there, maybe somebody says, hey, let's set up over there by Sherry's office, or let's do this, and we'll just all each come in. You log into your YouTube account, right? And then you shoot your video.
So what about the one that the accounts were suspended? So what did you make another one? That's about.
Well, how many people have YouTube accounts that are suspended? Okay, now who had a YouTube account that was suspended that's unsuspended?
Not here no more.
Huh?
It was, Big John.
Yeah, I can't get them.
Okay. So in that case, the thing to do is you create another YouTube account or Gmail account, or if you can create a YouTube account without a Gmail account, then you do that. Okay?
Ed, quick question.
So that's the thing that we'll just have to get figured out.
Ed, quick question,
Okay,
California.
the other thing is, well, we'll figure that out. So where we want to get to is by Thursday, everybody has a video that they have done. And once you create your first video, guess what becomes very easy?
Steps in making it.
Subsequent videos become easy. The more you do, the easier it becomes. Okay, Dennis, is there anything you want to say?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, why do they suspend those accounts? You know what?
What's in?
The volume's down.
Oh, see, they can't, yeah. His volume's down.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay, no, what causes them to suspend the accounts? There may be a few people here with those suspended accounts. You just sign back in, create another one?
Yeah, the first thing to do is go back to YouTube and try to get your account unsuspended. And that has happened in the past, but nobody's in here right now
Okay,
who that has occurred with.
okay.
Okay? So if that doesn't work, then everybody, should create another Gmail account, and that at least will also give experience on how to do that. Okay, so what's the? Let's all now everybody go to YouTube, and I want everybody to subscribe to the Larson account. So let's go to YouTube.
Okay.
How do we get to YouTube?
On the grid. On the grid.
Right, 9 square grid,
And the,
4 square.
oh, I was thinking about checking.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, 9 square grid. Type in Larson.
YouTube on there.
Well, I would say training.
Oh, I know that. Just Larson Training Center?
Centers.
Uh-huh.
Live now.
Okay. Okay, one, just pick a video, and then down here is a button that says subscribe. Okay. Just pick a video right here
Subscribe.
next
Okay.
to my picture. It says subscribe, so just subscribe. Now that gives you easy access to all of the videos.
Okay.
In our library.
It would let me do what account is
Yeah, if your account is suspended, you can't do it, obviously, you can't do it. When you have an account that you can do that, you do that. And
Let's do subscribe. Let's say live new. Live
just click
now.
on any one of them.
I'm watching the
Now it
video.
says there's about 14, almost 1,500 results. I don't think that's accurate.
Unable to access.
I think there's about 400 videos. So let's do that. Now, I have a Voce Ciao Tutti meeting. And what I would suggest is to start planning your 90-second video. And the starting point is, do you know the company you want to create the video for, or do you not? If you don't, then you want to have it as generic in terms of here's why you want to hire me versus why I want to work for you and why you should hire me. Okay? Yeah.
Is there any way that we can create several videos? That way I say if I wanted to.
Yeah, but first we're just going to focus on one. Once you get the one done, then you can do subsequent.
And say if that query was
Now, when you apply, you give them the link. All they have to do is click on it. Yes.
Okay, so I have subscribed to you, and I just subscribed to the interview guys, right?
Okay.
So now I want to find the interview guys.
Well, you would type in the.
Okay, so there's not like a place where they're stored, where my subscriber.
Okay, so tomorrow we will talk about playlists, how you add a video to your playlist.
So it's just a video, Julie, on how to make your own.
Playlist is you take videos you watch and you create a category and you add them to that. And then ultimately with YouTube is we'll Wednesday look at how you can edit videos and add music, because you can do all of this stuff on YouTube. Not hard. Yeah.
So we did a video and we didn't want to do a video. Can we do the one where you have to put the pictures on there? Like when we showed it on the video we watched today?
Well, that's not what the assignment is, but you can do that on your own.
I mean, it's the same thing as making a video, except you just have to.
No, the first one is for an employer to persuade them why they should hire you. And putting up a thing of a slideshow of stuff without you being on it in 90 seconds is not going to do the trick. You have to sell yourself. If people believe in you, then they will believe you. You can't jump to the believe me without believing in you. And the best way to sell yourself is for you to be them watching you talk about yourself.
I found it.
Good. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Dennis, any questions for me? Yes? Are you here to see someone?
Administration.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So.
Sorry, yeah, no questions. No questions here. Sorry.
Okay. So let's start thinking about, and you can work in teams if you want, 90 seconds. And the way these things are done in the real world is a thing called the storyboard. So you have, here's what I'm going to do first, then here's what I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about this, and you just literally draw it out. But you can do an outline if you want. Here's my name. My name is so-and-so. What your objective is to get people to believe in you. In 90 seconds, you want to try to get people to believe in you. You're not selling the product, you're selling yourself. Okay, here's who I am. This is where I grew up. I've been here for however many years. This is what I know how to do. In fact, in the interview guys, their You can answer the question. What's the question in the interview guide's video? Right. Tell me about yourself. Okay. You can practice that. And that could be a good exercise for people who don't really know what to do, is answer the question, tell me about yourself. Because then when you go back and look at it, it gives you an idea of what you look like to them. Okay, any last questions? Okay. Everybody had your chance. Huh?
EES, the education, employment, and skills.
Yes, right. Okay, good. So I'm going to leave it to you. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody.
No, not everybody.
Well, most people are.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, mostly the people that when you're doing something like this.
Right here? Tell me about yourself. You're not viewing it, you're about to record it. It's gonna be a view. Write it in the document.
That's where I still bottom line is 75 couples. So I had enough to work with exceptional.
What is 86? Yeah, man. One quarter like a cool, man. You ain't cool. Proud of you. Morning, John. What's up? Trust factor's low, John. And they said, what you feeling?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's okay.
Man, just man, you got confidence.
I am proud of you.
There you go. So I said what you can't say for us.
Why can't you? All right. What you want to say? Tell me about yourself. Yes, EES.
Yeah, I forgot.
What's EES stand for?
Education, employment, skills. I went to Woodrow School. I do this math.
Yeah, man. Nobody trying to hear it. No, we busy. Look like that. We working on school. We lost all that, man. We in school, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear it.
Hard on him.
Oh yeah, we very hard on
Are
you.
you looking at?
Lost the trust factor up in here. Ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Wait, are you suspended?
I don't know. It looks like all that. I haven't ever
That's okay. They suspended me to remind me. Yeah, you-
Exactly.
Who are you looking at?
Okay, so go to the doctor.
I'll post mine on World Star Hip Hop. I'm gonna get a World Star channel, see how they like that.
Okay, all right. Please read. Yeah.
My Google account.
Yeah, your Google account, right? Your YouTube account, right?
All right.
Your YouTube account. They answered that
Oh,
already?
yeah, man. I hope he say something about Richard Barnes. Yeah, that'd be like we ran these words. Keep it on that. And Mr. John,
Yeah,
what you talking about today?
this is gonna be about, actually the constant rounders.
Oh, okay. I'm just letting you know that,
Where's your account?
your accountability thing is gone.
Is anybody else's account suspended?
Yeah.
Did you send an email?
Yeah,
Long time ago.
they stopped responding now. They don't even respond
Did you
to
send
them
an email,
anymore.
Eric?
No.
Send an email. Click on contact us?
So, you know, finish it.
Yeah. Contact us?
YouTube, good.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be on YouTube. Suspend my shit.
Well, I have I'm a personal YouTube. I don't
So, personally, YouTube, you need to start getting on with the program.
All right, can you please reinstate my, or unsuspend my YouTube account?
My YouTube account. Can you please unsuspend my YouTube?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to find out,
You know, the thing she finds funny, you need help, you need help too. It's funny about it, okay? That's kind of funny. I want to do that really happy. I think that really
Would
happy.
you understand what I'm saying, Robert?
What's that?
EDS,
Yes. I didn't understand. It doesn't matter. I can't
Education.
make a video.
employment.
I'm
Yeah, you can.
you know,
You can make a video and upload this here. Google Plus,
He didn't say Google Plus, I can't say YouTube.
you wanna make a Google Plus on your side.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
If you want, I'm gonna send it to Google Plus.
Because to be honest, as soon as I get out of here,
so, can I have your attention, please?
Oh, shit.
I see some new faces, so I'll reintroduce myself. My name is John Johnson. I work in politics. I have the Progressive Democrats of Nevada, which is a political action committee. Basically, what I do is I engage constituents and get them involved in politics and their community. I work with Ed a lot here at the school, dealing with some of the issues that they have. With the Casa Grande, we've been actually working on a bill because the Casa Grande students, they can't use the internet per Nevada revised statute. So in order to get that changed, we have to put in legislation that basically corrects that situation. So that's what I'll be talking about today. One of my advisory board members, Progressive Democrats of Nevada, we have advisory board members who are state representatives. So some of our Senate advisory board members are Senator Parks, Senator Menendo, Senator Spearman. On our assembly side, we have Assemblyman Harvey Mumford, Assemblywoman Woodhouse, and basically what we do is we use our advisory board members to introduce legislation that we want passed and advocate for the changes that we want. I don't see any of the Casa Grande students here that was here about 6 months ago when we went out to watch a committee hearing on the judicial system. We took a group of students, Casa Grande and regular students, and in fact, one of the students went up there and testified. After that, Ed got a phone call from the Department of Corrections talking about, are the students using the internet, are they using communication? So from that, we worked with Senator Parks to get legislation to change that situation. Last Friday, Senator Parks dropped a bill, which is SB 294, that changes the legislation that allows inmates to use the computers and phones heard whether they're in school or at their job. This is the legislation. This is how it was originally written, except as otherwise provided in this section, the warrant. No. Okay, yeah. No, they don't have the original one on here. This is actually the updated one. So I'll read it as the new legislation. Except as otherwise provided in this section, the warden or manager of any institution or facility shall ensure that no offender in the facility or in the institution or facility or in a vehicle of the department has access to telecommunications devices. Any offender may use a telephone for the purpose of communicating with his or her child pursuant to NRS 209.42305. Any other approved telecommunication device subject to the limitations set forth by NRS 209.419. What you see here in blue is the new legislation that we put in. It reads, the department may enter into an agreement with the offender authorizing the offender to use the use of a telecommunications device. A, to access a network, including, without limitation, the internet for the purpose of obtaining an educational or vocational training that is approved by the department, searching for or applying for employment, or performing essential job functions. For any other purpose, if a telecommunications device is required by an employer of the offender to perform essential job functions. So this right here will now allow the Casa Grande students to use the internet while they're here or at their job or at any other place that's deemed approved by the department.
It will now or it will not?
It will. So if we pass this legislation, it will give you guys the ability to use the internet. Telecommunications has the meaning subscribed to in subsection 4 of the NRS code. This is now subsection 4. As used in this subsection, telecommunications device means a device or an apparatus associated with the device that can enable an offender to communicate with a person outside of the institution or facility at which the offender is incarcerated. The term includes, without limitation, a phone, a cellular telephone, a personal digital assistant, a transmitting radio or computer that is connected to a computer network. Is capable of connecting to a computer network through the use of wireless technology, or is otherwise capable of communicating with a person or device outside of the institution or facility. So that's their definition of what a telecommunication device is. Now, the process. The process for a bill, any bill to get passed in the legislation is, first of all, it has to be introduced. So it was introduced March 16, 2016. Once it's introduced, it has to be sent to a committee. The committee in which sees this legislation is the Judiciary Committee. The Judiciary Committee, let me go to it. Go here to Senate. Judiciary Committee is right here. These are your senators who sit on the Judiciary Committee. You have Greg Brower, who's the chair, Becky Harris, who's the vice chair, Michael Roberson, Scott Hammond, Reuben Kewen, Senator Tick Segerbloom. Was any of you guys here when Senator Segerbloom came and spoke to the class? Okay, he's on that committee, and Senator Aaron Ford is also on that committee. So you have a committee of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have a committee of 7 senators, and they will hear the legislation, and they can either vote to pass it, or they can vote to not pass it. In order to pass it, we need 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4 senators to vote in the affirmative, which means we need 4 senators to vote yes in order for this to be passed. We have, I believe she told me Thursday. No, it's not Thursday. It's Friday. Okay, here it is right here. So you can go on here and it gives you the schedules of the committee meetings and what legislation that they're going to hear. As you can see right here, on Wednesday, March 25th, so in 2 days at 1 o'clock, they will hear our legislation, which is Senate Bill 294. So what we're hoping for is we're hoping that the legislators in this committee will pass the legislation. Once it's passed through the committee, it goes back to the Senate for the Senate to vote as a whole body. So if it passed through the committee, it gets referred back to the Senate floor where they will have a debate and they will vote on passage. If it is passed, then it goes to the lower house, which will be your state assembly. The state assembly, once it gets referred to the assembly, it does the same process that it did in the Senate that it does in the assembly, which means that it will be introduced on the floor of Nevada State Assembly, then it will be referred to the Assembly Judicial Committee. The Judicial Committee must vote on it and refer it back to the Assembly. Once it's passed in the Assembly without changes, if it's changed, then it has to go back to the Senate, and the Senate has to approve the changes. But if it's passed through the Assembly, then it will go to the governor, and he has 1 or 2 things. He can veto it or he can sign it. If he decides to sign it, then once he signs it, it becomes law, and now the inmates at the various institutions can now use the communication devices for work or school. What we're going to be trying to do is we're going to once again try to get students to come testify at the hearing on Wednesday at 1 p.m. So that, like we did last time, we'll send out a list on Google Voice or Google Apps. And if you're interested in signing up to go hear the legislation or testify, then you will sign your name. Once again, it's up to us to go out and voice our opinion. When you hear about lobbying and you hear about big money in politics, this is what they're talking about. They have the money to pay lobbyists to go talk to legislators about their bills, about their issues. How many people think that this legislation is important by a show of hands? So it is up to you guys who raise your hand to voice your opinion and let the legislators know that it is important for you to be heard and for this legislation to be passed. Did you go with us to? No, it wasn't.
House of Granite, you can go. Probably knows that they're able to go out, walk around with you, right?
Yeah, what we will do is we will call Sergeant Scally and we will, oh, excuse me, Lieutenant Scally, and we will get movement orders for the Casa Grande students. So, in fact, I'll be having a conversation with him later on today. So, yeah, and how it is, you guys will come here, and then from here, we'll probably catch the bus to the Grant Sawyer building on Washington and Las Vegas Boulevard. I think that's the cross street. And it's in one of those rooms upstairs. But there was a student here who came with us to the judiciary, or excuse me, to the it's the criminal justice intern committee, and it was on the. I didn't know that they were even talking about it, but on the agenda they were talking about inmates getting ID cards when they get released from prison. There's legislation currently that says that the NDOC has to give inmates ID cards. The legislators thought that NDOC was following the law. One of the students testified, and he had just recently got out of one of the correctional facilities, and he showed them the ID that was given to the inmates when they released. It was not a valid, usable ID card. Couple of months later, his girlfriend got out of the facility, and she was given a paper where she can go to DMV to get a free ID card. So once again, it's because people are standing up, voicing their opinion, letting the legislators know what's going on, that we're able to create change. If you don't tell them what's going on, then you can't be upset when they don't do the right thing. Once you articulate and let the people know what's going on, then from there they can make their decisions, and from that you can make your decision on whether or not that legislator is full of BS or not. So, any questions about this particular legislation or the process?
What day it is?
It's going to be this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Yes. You know, when you're messing with Sherry and me, you can get moving in one day.
I need it now. I need cash now.
What time will we finish?
Honestly, I couldn't give you a definite answer. For the simple fact is, yeah, I have his cell phone. I'm gonna call him in a second. Because we have two bills. As you can see, you have Senate Bill 293 and Senate Bill 294. 293 is going to be heard before 294. So depending on how long they take to talk about this bill, determines on when we will be heard for that bill. 239 is what they're hearing first. We have to wait till they hear this bill to hear this bill, which is our bill 294. But it'll be, obviously, you guys are out of school at 3:30. So obviously, if it lasts longer than 3:30, you will have the option to leave. But once again, if you're in Casa Grande, because I'm pretty sure that Lieutenant Scally is going to be there anyway. Lieutenant Scally is very supportive of this legislation. In fact, the reason why he tried to get this legislation passed years ago. So here's how the process worked for NDOC. NDOC, just like any legislator, has what you call BDRs, bill draft requests, meaning that they have the ability to make legislation. For the past 2 sessions, Lieutenant Scally has been trying to get this legislation passed through the BDRs from NDOC. But what happens is that Lieutenant Scally is not at the top of the food chain. So he sends it up to the top, and they make the decisions based on their wants and needs on which requests actually get the DDR. Because NDOC only gets, let's say, 5 DDRs. So they only get 5 bills that they can send up to the legislation. So they prioritize what bills that they want to send to the legislature to get passed into the legislation. So every time that he sent it up, it got kicked back because they said, oh, we don't have enough DDRs. So this year, what he did was we talked to Senator Parks, who has over 100 DDRs, and said, instead of having NDOC do it, can you do it under your office? So he agreed, and now we have a bill that is through a legislator and not NDOC. So now NDOC doesn't have the ability to kill the bill. It's going to go. Also, if you look, it's always important to see who's on the bill. $294, where are you? Right here. So here are the people that are on the bill. The ones in bold indicate that they're the primary sponsors. This means that they are the ones who were on the bill when the bill was dropped. Senator Parks, Senator Aaron Ford, Senator Kewen, Mo Dennis, Menendo, and Woodhouse. These are basically all progressive senators. These are all senators who are more liberal than most Democrats and aren't scared to put their name on pretty much anything that is liberal. Senator Ford is the minority leader. The minority leader basically, you have a Senate majority leader and you have a Senate minority leader. In order to be in the majority, obviously that means you have to hold more seats than your counterparts, which means that there are more Republicans in the Senate than it is than Democrats. So the Republicans are the majority and the Democrats are the minority. The Senate majority leader leads the Republicans. The Senate minority leader leads the Democrats. So Senator Ford is the Senate minority leader, and he's one of the primary sponsors on this bill, which means that it has a very likely probable chance of passing through the Senate. There is
What's so funny?
Grown folks do.
When you say
yes, if you go there, you can sign up to speak. That's what we want you to do, is we want you to sign up and speak during public comments or during the time to testify. I'll be there. I'll be testifying. Lieutenant Scally should be there. He should be testifying. You'll actually see a lot of people from NDOC testifying in support of this legislation.
Okay, John, it's break time.
thank you,
Wrap it up with everyone.
Yes, we are actually done. I was just looking for
Good.
something else, but I don't see it.